All right. What's up, co-counsels? What's up, Allie? Hope you guys are having a good day. I apologize. Let's get, you guys know I can talk, okay? Let us get into Allie says she wants a real lawyer too. So let us get into, oh, I forgot to change my still says sustained overrule. I'll do that some other time, maybe over the weekend. Let us get into Lori's closing. I watched a little bit of the prosecution's closing. I thought they said closing would only be an hour. Prosecutor was up there for quite some time. But let's get into Lori because she said it was going to take less time, but I don't know. Let's get into it. Yeah, if you guys ever hear me talking about what is this? If I ever claim that I'm going to go live on a weekend, no, it's not happening. I'm sorry. I meant to come up here yesterday. It's got out of hand. I don't have enough hours in a day. All right, come on. Let's see what Lori. Allie, did you watch the closing or no? Let's see. What are they up to? All right, come on, Lori.
All right, please be seated. The jury is present.
All right.
The defendant can proceed with her closing argument.
I don't even know what's about to happen, but all right. Look at her suit.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the state of Arizona has the 100% burden of proving that I committed
Sounds pretty, she sounds nervous.
a crime, a grievous crime, conspiracy to commit premeditated murder of my husband, Charles Vallow. The state has...
Look at Real Thing. What's up, Real Thing? What is up, Real Thing? She said we're finally live. I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Happy Monday. And then definitely shout out to all the public defenders, Meg Shard, Voice of Reason, and I want a real lawyer. Okay. What are you working on, Allie? That's just a reminder telling me to be up here. Hopefully everybody got the memo. If not, we're a party of three tonight.
the burden of proving to
And Real Thing, did you watch this or no? Allie, did you watch or no?
you that this event was not self-defense. In your jury instruction under the instruction...
Okay, why is the court reporter looking at her like
First,
that?
in crime prevention, the last line reads, if the state fails to carry this
She's
burden,
nervous.
then you must find the defendant not guilty. In the law, under your jury instruction titled Justification for Defense of a Third Party, the last line reads, if the state fails to carry
Oh,
this
she has a
burden,
theme.
you must find the defendant not guilty.
She has a theme.
Under your jury instruction titled Justification for Self-Defense,
Oh,
the
okay.
last line reads,
All right,
if the
Allie.
state fails to carry this burden, you must find the defendant
Okay, so far I like the theme.
not guilty.
All right.
In your jury instruction, under presumption of innocence, it states, the law does not require the defendant to prove innocence. Every defendant is presumed by law to be innocent. Under the burden of proof, it explains that the state's burden is this. Proof
Shout out
beyond
to
a reasonable
co-counsel
doubt
Allie.
is proof that leaves you
That's
firmly
good.
convinced of the defendant's guilt. If, on the other hand, you think there's a real possibility that he is not guilty, you must give him the benefit of the doubt and find him not guilty. In Arizona, self-defense is defined as not being a crime. So let's look at what we've learned in this trial. We learned that a shooting occurred and that 911 was called, that law enforcement was notified. We learned that fire, EMS, and
She's
Tampa
doing good
police
so
arrived
far.
at the scene. We learned that my brother, Alex Cox, came out of the house with his hands up as directed by 911.
And here's the problem. Lori, you guys need to give me a shout out. Did you guys see that? Give me some big ups. Did you guys see my thumbnail? I have a thumbnail, you guys. It looks professional. Okay, Real Thing did not watch Lori's closing. Did you guys see my thumbnail though? I put some work into it. I'm so proud of myself.
And was questioned by the police in the driveway.
Yeah. I was about to say that Lori definitely messed up. This would have been a good enough defense case because the trigger person is deceased or they're not available. Lori.
We learned that I came up with my daughter Tylee, and we were told to wait by the car until police would speak with us. We learned from Detective Inklin on the stand that we asked for Tylee's medication from the house for her panic attacks, but it was not given to her. We learned that eventually my brother Alex was taken in a police car to the Chandler Police Department uncuffed. We learned in this trial that my daughter Tylee and I were also taken to Chandler Police Department in a police van. We heard from Detective Inklin's testimony that her goal was to make small talk with us.
Okay.
And
The jury will determine what the testimony did or did not show. Go ahead.
that her goal was to make the small talk with us and all the way to the station so she could speak with us separately before we would talk about what actually happened. We learned that all three of us were separated and taken to 3 interview rooms,
Okay.
where we each told police of the events of the day, each from our own perspectives, and answered all questions asked of us. We saw snippets of that interview in the trial here. The state did not show you the entire interview. Most of my police interview is admitted, though, into evidence
Okay.
in this exhibit.
All right.
It's number
What's the number?
286.
All right.
And I would encourage you to watch that entire interview when you start your deliberations.
Okay.
It is important. It is important for you to determine for yourselves my demeanor and not listen to anyone else. You can see it with your own eyes and hear it with your own ears. We heard from several witnesses that because this event was almost 6 years ago, that their memories of the events and statements were probably better back then. Well, my police interview, this event was almost. We heard from several witnesses that because this event was almost 6 years ago, that their memories of the events and statements were probably better back then. Well, my police interview happened that very morning. And I told
Thanks,
the
Allie.
events from my perspective at that time.
Thanks,
It is
Real
admitted
Thing.
into evidence and will answer
I put
many
some
of
work
your
into it.
questions. You did not see Tylee's interview, but we did learn from Detective Inklin that she did an interview that morning as well.
Okay.
You did not see Alex's interview, but we learned that Alex was interviewed that morning by Detective Moffett, the original case agent, whom we did not hear from in this trial. The state chose not to show you those interviews. Objection, Honor. Or let you listen to the 911 call.
Right. The jury shall disregard that last statement. Okay.
Lori,
the jury can
I
only
was just
consider
giving you
what
props.
was admitted into evidence.
I was just giving you props.
We
though.
learned in this trial from Officer Kautheim's testimony that Alex was injured on the back of his head with a bump, and according to his testimony, a 1-inch laceration.
Lori, I mean, you had an opportunity to put on a case. So why didn't you call the okay, it's fine that, the sister and the mother, they were dodging, the process server. But what Lori could have done is subpoena somebody in law enforcement in order to get her interviews admitted. That's what she should have done. Basically, this investigator that she's talking about, she could have subpoenaed him. He'd show up and, um, get her evidence in. That's what she should have done under these circumstances.
We did not see those pictures documenting that injury as well. We learned in this trial that we did not
Right.
know, the
Right.
three of us, that our interviews were being recorded.
Yeah, Allie. I mean, you really cannot unring the bell, but
We learned that Alex's phone was taken by police and put into an evidence bag,
okay.
according to Detective Duncan, and that no digital copy of Alex's phone was taken by the Chandler Police Department, even though this is their normal protocol. We learned that Alex's phone was returned to him that same day with no further inquiries. We learned that after my interview and Tyler's
would have been a
interview, that we
decent
were
case.
introduced to a victim's advocate and that gave us further instructions in another room where Tyler and I were reunited. We learned that soon after that, all three of us, Alex, Tyler, and myself, were taken in another van and dropped off back at our house.
Okay.
We learned that we were instructed at that time that we could not enter the house yet, that we were directed by law enforcement to take the rental car, since all three of our cars were inside the police tape. We were directed to return later in the afternoon when the scene was cleaned up. We learned in this trial that we did as directed and left the house in the rental car close to 12 p.m. We learned that we did not return to the house until contacted by Detective Inkland to return to the house so that Alex could walk the detectives through what they call a walkthrough. We learned that many detectives were present during that walkthrough with Alex. We learned that Detective Duncan was there, Detective Coons was there,
I'm parenting you
Detective
guys.
Moffett was there, Detective Werther was there, and an officer with a body cam was there. And yet, we were told by Detective Duncan, the case agent on this case, on the stand, that because of some problem,
What, you
the
guys have
walkthrough was not
snow?
recorded.
You guys have snow, Allie? It's April. Somewhat. It's supposed to be springish, kind of.
Detective Duncan also informed us that he does not know if any of the people present at the home heard about it. We can infer from Detective.
Real thing is funny. So Real Thing said that Lori said screw everybody who wanted her to plead guilty by reason of insanity and probably ending up in a mental institution. She wants a full acquittal. That's Lori, that's I don't know. For this case, I don't see a full acquittal. No, I don't see an acquittal. I do not see an acquittal. But potentially, I mean, had you put on, she has no obligation, but had you put on an actual defense, I could see the possibility of just a hung jury. Not that there'd be deadlock forever, but at least as as a starting basis. That girl said she's not insane. Lori thinks she believes she's not insane. Alex says there's no way she's getting any type of acquittal. Yeah, I don't see an acquittal either. Not, I don't see. Here's the biggest problem. She contradicts. The motive is pretty strong. Okay, the motive is really, really strong. But the biggest problem is when she talked to the insurance company. She said it was an accidental death, but now she's claiming self-defense. Those two things are not compatible. They're not compatible. And then I believe, because I watch a little bit of the prosecution's closing, because I focus primarily on Lori's cross-examination, but I believe the prosecutor's closing, she said something along the lines of Lori actually having shoes on as she entered Walgreens. Or maybe I didn't hear that properly, but I thought there are a few things that don't make sense. But here's the thing: the Lori's strongest argument, okay, Lori's strongest argument is going to be the fact that her brother's hunch, what's his name? Adam Cox's hunch that Lori and Alex colluded or conspired to take out Charles. That is not sufficient. That's what she needs to argue. She has to say, she pretty much has to convince the jury that that is not the prosecution proving its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Maybe she gets into it, but to me, from a defense perspective, that is probably the one thing that I would have been pressing. The fact that, he may have believed, but that hunch alone, that is not sufficient.
Duncan's testimony and the fact that we don't have an evidence, any body cam footage of the walkthrough and no reports talking about it, that there are none. Even though this would be crucial evidence for you, the
I
jury,
was
to
about to
ask.
say that. I was surprised the prosecutor was not objecting, but Lori's going out guns blazing.
Sus- Sustained. The jury should disregard that comment. Again, the jury can only consider evidence that was admitted into testimony.
All right.
I'm sorry, testimony that was admitted into evidence or exhibits that were admitted into evidence.
The state of Arizona has the obligation to show
That is
you
true.
evidence to prove that this event was not self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, Lori just. I don't want to say that they didn't think it through, but kind of seems like they didn't think it through.
As stated by the only 3 witnesses. So why not show the jury all the evidence that they gathered?
Again, sustained.
Lori, you're not winning. You're
The jury
you're
can
down.
only consider the evidence and testimony that was
Yeah.
admitted into evidence.
We learned in this
Okay,
trial
so she
that
had
Alex
shoes
fully
on.
cooperated
Okay,
with law enforcement.
that's what's problematic about Lori. A lot of it's not lining up. Yeah, it's not. She's lying about things she has no business lying about. She's lying about facts she has no business lying about.
We learned that my daughter Tylee fully cooperated with law enforcement.
Okay.
We learned that I fully cooperated
Look
with
at
law
Allie.
enforcement. We learned that
Allie said, please smash that like button for engagement. And while you're smashing that like button, smash the subscribe button. Okay, she also has a subscribe button in the comment.
enforcement treated all of us that day kindly and courteously on July 11th, 2019.
This actually would have been, this is a decent point to hammer home.
Law enforcement treated us that day like this was self-defense. We were not given instructions to stay in town.
Terrible choice of words. Law enforcement treated us like it was self-defense. So basically, a part of that statement is her to an extent admitting that they kind of believed it for some time until they were proved otherwise. I don't like her use of language there.
We were not given instructions that we were under investigation of any kind.
Okay.
On July 11th, 2019, we were interviewed by Chandler Police and released with no further instructions.
But
We learned that Chandler Police put out a press release that day on July 11th.
I'll sustain that objection to the extent the jury is to determine what the facts did or did not establish.
Under Arizona,
listen, if you wanted that press conference to come in, you should have put somebody. Law enforcement, they would have showed up. They would not have loved to show up, but they would have showed up.
Arizona law, I had the right to self-defense. Tylee had the right to self-defense. Alex had the right to self-defense.
That's how she should have started off her closing, okay? That's how she should have gone about it. Okay.
This event was not planned or expected. It was shocking.
Okay.
We learned in this trial that Chandler Police Department neglected to do a thorough investigation. We learned that they did not swab Alex's hands for gunpowder residue. We learned that they did not swab my hands for gunpowder residue. We learned that they did not swab Tylee's hands for gunpowder residue. We learned that they did not
How's that helping you?
luminol the gun. We learned that they did not luminol the bat. They did not test the DNA on the bat that they collected. They did not test the floorboard. They did not test the projectile. They did not test my husband's shirt. They did not search the rental car.
My husband.
They did not search any of our 3 cars that were there at the scene. They did not test the gun until over 5 years later.
Ellie disagrees.
The Chandler Police Department did treat this event just like it was
All right.
self-defense
All right, Lori.
and a tragic family event.
Mm.
We learned in this trial that Charles and I were obviously having marital problems.
Okay.
Regardless of what was happening in our marriage at the time, on July 11th, this was self-defense. When Tylee came out with the bat to protect me, her mother, Charles did not have to take the bat from Tylee and start swinging. At 62 years old, Charles had a choice that day and could have put the bat down. A 2-minute period.
I get part of this, but I mean, we still have some time left. It would have made a bit more sense for Lori to talk about her husband in a loving manner. I don't know that any of this is actually going to make a difference because I mean, the facts are what they are, but I'm just trying to, I'm standby counsel for Lori. So
changed
I'm trying to figure out how she could have come up with a better strategy because what she's doing, I don't know,
lives
Lori.
forever.
Lori, why'd you do this?
How are you supposed to choose between
I
three
mean,
people
Lori should have gone with a real lawyer. Like Lori should have gone with somebody, don't represent yourself, Lori.
you love? Your husband, your daughter, your
Hold on, she's getting
a 2-minute period changed our lives forever.
okay.
How are you supposed to choose between 3 people you love?
Mm-hmm.
Your husband, your daughter, your brother?
All right, hold on. All right, I'll caution the defendant not to testify about things that were not entered into evidence.
Why didn't that would have been terrible actually.
How
for
can
Lori
you
to get this
decide
in.
for another person if they feel threatened? Why does the state want to blame to someone?
It's a reasonable person standard, not the standard of the person.
I'm sure you'll point that out in rebuttal. I'll allow the argument as that inference. Go ahead.
Here's the thing: the prosecutor's objecting so much. Hopefully, she doesn't annoy the jurors. I mean, that's up to her.
Why does the state want to blame someone for this tragic event? What evidence did the state show you in this trial that I wanted harm to come to my husband?
What's
We
up,
learned in this
Benji?
trial that I was praying for my husband. We learned in this
Oh, I'm
trial.
sorry, Benji. I believe in order to get notification, you have to click on the bell and then select all. I don't know, Ali, real thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you do have to select all.
That even though my husband
What's up, though? Did you have a good weekend?
and I were having marital issues, that we were both trying to do the best things for our son with special needs, JJ. We learned in this trial that I was shocked that Charles had changed his
Okay.
life insurance policy.
All
But I
right,
was
that
not
sounds
angry
good.
as the
That
state
sounds good,
alleges.
Benji.
In the phone call we heard from the insurance company, we heard that I was disappointed for our children, our grown children, as well as our children still at home.
Ali said she
But I
needed
was
a
not
real
angry.
lawyer.
My husband Charles was providing for our children still at home. I had no motive to
Oh,
change that.
okay. Look at Benji. Benji, that's good. I'm really happy for you. That's really, really good. That's good, good, good. Boundaries are very important. Okay, so Ali says that you are 100% right. Oh, she's talking to me. I'm sorry. Okay, so Ali says that I'm 100% right. Okay, so that is how you get the notifications. All right. Okay, a real thing said the same thing as well. So you have to select all. And again, I apologize for yesterday. My plan was really to get up here, but things just spun out of control. I have to parent. I parent full time. That's like my full time job. You guys know Sunday I'm supposed to be, getting things in order. And yesterday was actually a real holiday. Okay, Easter. I mean, it's Easter. To me, the only holidays that I've seen stores actually close, July 4th and Thanksgiving. All the other times folks work. Anyways, the stores were closed by 3 p.m. When I went out there, everything was shut down. But yeah, I also live in the middle of nowhere. But it was a real
We heard a
holiday.
lot about in this trial about the Book of Mormon prophet named Nephi.
Okay.
This is the state's evidence to murder over self-defense, and it is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, okay.
We heard from Detective Duncan, who admitted on the stand that he had no idea what I meant in the text message when I said, "We will be like Nephi." In Mormon culture, Nephi signifies strong faith, perseverance, and
object.
courage.
And evidence not handed
Right.
in testifying.
Sustained.
The state's attempt to misconstrue the positive text
Lori's not doing
message
good.
about a wonderful religious figure, Nephi, and try to turn it into an
Do we have
order
any
to
Mormons
kill
on the
someone
jury?
is absurd. This is an attempt by the state to try to retrofit a crime that doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
This
Look at my
event was
girl,
not
a
a
retrofit.
crime. It was a tragedy. Don't let them
Don't
turn
start
my
crying.
family
Or maybe
tragedy
cry. I don't know.
into a crime.
Probably cry.
When I'm done speaking to you,
Okay.
the state gets to get up and rebut all that I've told you.
Lori,
They've got to have the last word.
there's
so to
no way
speak,
you're done.
because
Are
it is
you done?
100% their burden to prove to you that I committed a crime. And you won't be allowed to hear from me again.
Okay.
So I want you to remember
Okay.
that it is the state's job to prove to you that I committed a crime.
Lori.
And if you have not seen the evidence that leaves you firmly convinced that I have committed this very crime, then the state failed to show you the evidence that you need. Because I did not commit this crime.
All right.
The only interview the state entered into evidence is mine. So I encourage you to go watch
How
it.
long is that interview?
I told you just what happened that day, just the way it happened. The state put forth a bunch of evidence in this trial in an effort to make you dislike me, to try
What?
to attack my character,
What?
so
Lori.
that you would just say guilty no matter what evidence they showed you.
Lori, did you put this on paper?
But only you get to decide. The state put up witnesses that had zero knowledge of a conspiracy.
That's good. You need to hammer. That's what you need to hammer on. Okay.
The state did
What
not
did they say?
show you
You talk about how your brother said, talk about what everybody said or how
evidence
they
of an
disputed knowledge of a conspiracy. That's what you need
agreement
to
to
focus
commit
on.
murder. They showed you evidence of a family tragedy,
Okay.
and then they showed you the sad effects of a family torn apart because of that tragedy.
Are you done?
That's all.
That girl said that's all.
Because of that tragedy. That's all.
Lori. Lori, I don't know. It's such a stark contrast between the opening and the close. I guess we have to go back to that opening. As far as I'm not convinced. Not that she has to convince me, but her demeanor differs. Her demeanor in closing differs materially from how she presented in opening. In opening, I thought that she was very sympathetic, easy to listen to. In closing, I mean, she sounds like she attempted to, drop a few tears, but they just wouldn't come. They weren't cooperating. I don't know. I was not really. I was not expecting anything from Lori, but she did nothing. She did absolutely nothing for somebody that is claiming self-defense and put on no evidence. I think because she actually did not, I mean, again, she's the defendant. She does not have to put on a case, but because think about it this way. Consider the ASAP Rocky trial without him actually putting anybody on the stand. Okay. Consider that for a moment. That is a vastly different outcome. as far as self-defense is concerned, this is one of those defenses where you pretty much do have to put on parenting 101. Sorry.
All right, the state does have the burden, so I have the right to open and close the argument. Do you want to give a rebuttal close? Go ahead.
The execution of Charles Vallow is not a family tragedy. There is nothing that you can say about shooting a man as he lay on the ground that you can try to construe in any way to make that a family tragedy.
Sorry, I was parenting. Benji said she's cut. She's gone. Ellie said she sure did because she's reading from that paper. Lori, I don't know. Okay, so Allie says horrible if you ask me, didn't help her in the slightest. I don't think she looks defeated. She's feeling defeated at this point, I think. Laura should have gone with a real attorney. That's really what she should have done because she made a mess of what could have been a decent criminal defense case. Let's see, what is the prosecution argument?
This case is about
Yeah, this is what I was saying before Zeta came in here. What I was saying is that because Lori did not put on a defense case, it would have made sense for her to spend a lot of her closing pretty much attacking the prosecution's case and trying to show where the inconsistencies are. I'm thinking really hard, Lori. This is difficult. But again, not to say a lot of the officers, I don't remember the officers contradicting themselves, but again, them not having actual evidence of a conspiracy or not testifying to an actual conspiracy, that would have been her best argument. So she should have focused a lot of attention trying to dissect those testimonies, but I don't know. Her girl just gave up. She gave in.
defendant.
She realized that the work of an attorney is not that easy.
Not Alex Cox. Alex is involved in it because that is her co-conspirator.
Okay.
We are not here to determine his guilt, albeit it is quite obvious.
Objection.
This defendant wants you to just look at one piece, and she wants you to hope that there's only a person who will say, I saw, I heard the conspiracy. But what did you hear in every instruction is that you can look to other evidence to show that.
Yeah,
This defendant wants you to forget about her words and pretend that when she told her lover, her soon-to-be
That's
husband.
a problem. Oh my goodness, Lori. Listen. First of all, Lori should not have allegedly conspired to, end anybody's life. That's the first part. But what, Lori? The facts of this case do not make sense. So Lori was unemployed or was a homemaker for about 13 years. Okay. You have a husband that's working. He's providing for you. And all you get to do is, I don't know, parent and go out on, what was it called? Girls what? Girls something. I don't know. Girls night? I don't think that's it. What's the event they went to, the one that they invited Serena? I don't think that's her name. I know her last name is Sharp. Was her first name Serena? I don't remember. Lori, out of everything, there's a lot. A lot doesn't make sense with these facts. But I suppose they don't make sense because Lori might, in fact, be mentally ill. The logic is a little off.
Husband, we got rid of him. That he changed the life insurance before
That's right,
we got
Allie.
rid of him. That somehow means what?
All right.
That they killed him. And he changed his life insurance before they killed him.
Right.
What does that tell you? That tells you motive, and that tells you who did it. This defendant is one of those because she's writing it. She wants you to pretend that when she is talking about Charles for months, acquiescing and agreeing to her brother killing him,
Yeah,
having
she's
people tell
mentally
her
ill.
that it's wrong, having people know that they're planning something, that those words don't mean exactly what they.
Apparently, Shannon Sharp is being sued. I do not know if we get into, we have a lot of time. I do not know if we try and get into Shannon Sharp or if we move on to Karen Reed. What is this? Is this mic still connected? Okay, it is. I edited the what is this, the title, because I was not sure if we'd have enough time to go over the Karen Reed stuff. But I don't know. We'll see after this rebuttal. We'll see exactly what it is we want to do.
They are. We got rid of him,
Okay.
this defendant. The state, of course, has the burden, and that's how it should be. But every one of those justification defenses
No,
falls.
I'm still not. This is just an ordinary prosecutor. Okay. I have no points or criticism of his style of, you know, his style of trial presentation. But so far, I mean, we are only in what, April? To date, the best presentation that I've seen from both defense and prosecution still remains that Colin Griffith case. I thought the prosecution and defense were really good in that case.
Short when you look at the conspiracy itself. When they got rid of him, they did it by planning it.
Not too
There is
good.
no reason that Alex Cox.
Maybe the plan actually would have been decent had Lori and Chad not gone rogue and just off the kids. Maybe the plan would have ended right there, but they just had to go all the way.
Over to this defendant's house with a loaded gun and waited for Charles to
Yeah,
come
they're
inside,
insane.
held there by this defendant using the cell phone. That is conspiracy. That is planning. That is premeditated. You can absolutely watch that whole video. That's why the state included that for you. What you're going to see is that Lori Vallow doesn't cry. She is not truthful, as we've gone through. Her timeline is absolutely wrong.
Okay.
She tells the detectives it's quick, it's 12 minutes. She wants you to believe that the police could understand all of this that day. But what did you hear? Is that all the police could tell initially was that the timeline was off. And then they started learning that the physical evidence seemed to be showing that Charles was executed on the floor, but they needed to see if the medical examiner agreed with them 2 days later. And then they needed to pull all those iCloud accounts, phone records, and go through terabytes of data to bring forward
Lori.
these things that you have now learned and hold. They interviewed these people who learned of the defendant's religious beliefs, that she was exalted, that she was celestial being, that she didn't have to repent.
Oh, she was gone.
Of course she thought she was Nephi. We learned that
Are they going to show
physical
Lori?
evidence on Charles and at the scene show us that he was executed. And every single one of those defenses that the defendant has asked you to look at, the state has met its burden. Because even if you somehow believe that Charles actually had that bat and it wasn't staged like the rest of the scene with the shoes and the lack of blood there. That second shot is not justified for self-defense, crime prevention, or third-party defense.
Hmm.
Arizona law does not allow you to execute a man on the ground.
Sorry. I was gonna
The
say
defendant wants you to
something.
believe she
I'll
was
leave it
shocked
alone.
and surprised by this. And yet she goes wandering around, goes to Burger King,
Right.
Walgreens, drops off her kid, comes back and jokes about her neighbors. Not one action of a person shocked, surprised. She wants you to feel bad for her daughter, Tylee. You saw her there. You heard from the detectives. She's also not shocked, crying, upset, worried.
Mm. Okay, so what does that? I'm trying to figure out why. I'm trying to figure out what the prosecution want the jurors to infer from Tylee's supposed demeanor. Was she supposed to be hysterical? I don't know. I'm a bit puzzled.
And you
by
saw
that one.
Alex. Same demeanor. Why? They've had 47 minutes.
Okay, is she trying to say that the teenage daughter, was in on? I mean, she didn't like the man, or it sounds like she and the man did not get along. So,
To work it all out. Go through Charles's phone, figure out what they're going to say. They've talked on the phone
okay,
twice.
so basically, that is what the prosecutor's saying. She is claiming that this teenager, I think Tylee was a teenager at the time, was a part of this called conspiracy.
In this time period.
I don't know what to make of that.
This case relies upon
So
all of the
Benji says that so far it looks like Lori has some composure and hasn't gone all crazy talk. I suppose she presented herself well, with the exception of when she confronted the other missus. Okay, Nancy Joe, I believe is her name. Nancy Joe, we actually have to. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look a little bit at Nancy Joe's cross examination, because that was a hot mess. But she was okay until she cross examined Nancy.
investigation that the police did.
But I would say, I'm gonna say again, so far, Lori Vallow is a decent pro se litigant. If we have to compare her to other pro se litigants, for sure, she has done a better job. I don't know about done a better job. She has composed herself and carried herself well. I'll put it that way.
That day, when they knew that timeline was wrong,
But
that day when they started to understand that the physical evidence at the
a little
scene
off.
was staged and wrong and didn't match what the defendant was saying. And then all of the evidence after that, culminating when this defendant told the man that she married later that she was having an affair with, as many times as she wants to say Charles was my husband.
Mm.
She didn't want him as her husband. She wanted Chad Daybell. She wanted that life insurance policy, and yes, she was angry about it. And she said, we got rid of him.
Mm.
That is her confession to you. That is why she is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Do we have Izzy coming over? Izzy to be sworn in?
All right, what's going on?
All right, members of the jury, there are 14 of you, only 12 of you can deliberate.
Right.
At this time, we're going to choose the alternate jurors by random lot here.
All right.
So we have our scientific method here of random numbers.
All right.
14.
Juror 14. Juror 5.
All right.
I don't think you're 5. Well, maybe you are. Okay, so To the alternates, if I don't see you again, I want to thank you for participating in this process. The admonition still applies to you until we call you and tell
Oh
you
my
that's lifted.
goodness.
I have in the
Is
past
that what
had-
you're really expecting, Benji? I believe if that was Lori's presentation, people would kind of. I mean, I think she's crazy, but the jurors would have been like, "Oh, she's definitely gone. She's really crazy." Yeah, she. I mean, she's a little cuckoo, but
to have callback
she's
alternate
not.
jurors.
Lori is not mentally sound. She's not. She's not mentally sound, and I know that. You know, I guess somebody in her position. I don't know that landing in a mental institution would be it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose. But she was not going to go for that.
To testify or to deliberate when, for whatever reason, one of the jurors can't continue to deliberate, becomes sick, has a family emergency, etc. So you still could have to deliberate in this case.
And what does NIFA actually sound like? What? Oh, this is the facts of this case are just mind-boggling. Everything from 2018 through I guess 2019, it's really mind-boggling. All the way through to when did she off the kids? Was it 2020, 2021?
Again, if I don't see you again, I really do want to thank you for participating in this process. I know it might be somewhat of a disappointment to not deliberate right now, but we will keep you posted and we'll let you know if we need you. The remaining 12 jurors will retire to the jury room and begin your deliberations. First, we're going to swear in my staff.
Do you swear that you will take charge of this jury and protect their deliberations from all outside interference and communication, and when they have reached a verdict, you'll bring them back into court without revealing the verdict to anyone, so help you God?
I mean, never mind. I was gonna say, why can't they swear to something else? But let's leave it alone.
One drop goes off.
I believe what's left. All right, what's on the clock? How long did they deliberate for the day? Okay, let's go back to Nancy. Oh, actually, no. Let's get to the comments. I love the comments. All right, hold on. You can have.
And so that you have the bat, Exhibit 249.
Hold on. I'll be right there, folks. I'm just, you guys can listen to Lori in the background. Okay. I'm sorry. I should not be laughing at this, but I think Crash Burn 3292 says that when this trial is over, Lori and Chad might be considered two of the dumbest criminals in U.S. history. It's just, yeah, it's they did not think this through. Not one bit. Not one bit. And then do they know we can hear their conversations? Whose conversations? Whose conversations? Okay, I know what's going on. Okay. So somebody said, I wish the investigators would have seen all of this evidence a lot sooner. Oh, right. An investigator better at the beginning. So Lori, Chet, and Alex couldn't have taken Tylee, JJ, and Tammy's life. Incompetence. So, yeah, let the evidence show Lori walked into and out of Walgreens with shoes on. She wasn't barefoot like she said. What a liar. Let the evidence show. Okay. All right, there we go. I'm not going to read that. That's not nice. All right. Somebody is convinced by the prosecution. I hope the jury does watch that whole video to see Lori's lack of emotion. It's too much. And then, okay, there's not much over there. Benji, what's the interview that you had previously watched? I know that you had watched my kid has my phone. She needs to be in bed. I'm going to call her right now. She needs to be in bed. Okay, so Real Thing says, if she is really crazy, How does she know to tame the crazy talk and act normal during this trial? Uh, that's a good question. That is a good question. Here's the thing, though. I think, as far as the whole Nephi stuff, she's crazy. Lori is, yeah, she's crazy. She's definitely crazy. I cannot even justify the belief because to me, it sounds like she actually believed whatever it is that she believed in. And what is puzzling to me, though, is how she was able to convince I don't know who convinced who. Okay, somebody convinced somebody. I just and it's not just the brother, but even the mom and the sister. Not that they were in on it, but it sounds as if they were not as outspoken as Adam Cox. And how do you convince Chad? There's a lot going on here. A lot of questionable what is this? Questionable movements. Lori's crazy. There's no way around it. Lori is definitely crazy. That's just she's crazy. As far as how she's able to tame, I actually don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but she's not batshit crazy, but she's crazy. And she's not all the way there. And to, here it's to take out your own kids and even a man that provided for you. Lori's crazy. Lori's definitely crazy. All right, so real thing says for crazy people, right? Ordinarily, usually crazy people don't know they're crazy. So Lori, that's why she's not going with that insanity defense, because that goes against I guess her identity of self. Okay, and Benji says, no, Lori's crazy. There's no way around that. Lori's definitely crazy. Is she's not mentally sound.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
That sweet voice. Benji, what was the interview? Otherwise, let's just go to Nancy Joe. Nancy Joe, I believe was her name. I don't remember. Oh, there are a lot of Nancy Joes. I'll just have to find it, I suppose. I saw my
They're gonna probably be arrested.
phone right now, but there's a video I wanted to see that I think these folks uploaded. Oh, they have Shannon Sharp up here. Actually, can we get into Shannon Sharp? No, we're not trying to listen. So on this channel, I'm not trying to be as chaotic. I mean, I cannot help myself. I'm a chaotic person, but I'm trying really hard not to be as chaotic. Okay. Brooklyn says, good evening, Esso. On your new channel, is your name still Esso? Or I don't even how that's way too long. IWARL. Let's go with Esso. All right. That's what we're gonna go. That's way too long. Eh, I'm with Ali. I would have kept my cash cow around. She just was not they were not thinking. They were not thinking at all. Mm-mm. They were not thinking. I mean, don't take our people, but this is insane. I hate some of these titles. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Like what? Hold on, I was trying to find. This might be the wrong channel. Law and Crime Trials. Did you have a good weekend, Brooklyn? Let's see. Law and Crime Trials. There's something from yesterday. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. There we go. There we go.
Lowe's and Home Depot both can't stand when you do this. But there's nothing
I thought I paid for YouTube Premium. I've had YouTube Premium for a while.
they can do to stop you.
I need to look into that.
Mr. Cox, how long has it been since we've seen each other in
My
person?
girl said, Mr. Cox.
Don't know.
I hope. Are they going to talk about her enchiladas? Is this what it's about?
When was the last time you saw me?
The last time I
Don't
saw you. is The
recall.
last time I saw you.
So has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years,
I don't
6
recall.
years, 7 years, 8 years?
Something.
Okay. So you have no idea.
Nope.
You have no idea when the last time you saw me in person.
I don't know the year or how many years it's been.
Okay. So did you see me at Colby's wedding in January 2018?
No, I was not there.
You didn't come.
Oh God!
No.
Look at real thing.
So
Okay, thank you, my dear. I'll do that.
you
I'll do
see
that.
me sometime that year
But this
at my
is a
house
separate channel, huh?
Possibly.
Thank
where
you.
Colby got married. That house.
I did see you at that house. Yes.
At least one time.
Yes.
So possibly in 2018.
Yes.
What are you
And when
referring
was the last
to?
time we had any
Oh, okay, I
communication?
see. Oh, Benji must
The
be
last
way
time I remember
behind.
our communications was you and I were speaking in the kitchen when the family was over.
Hmm.
Okay. So you think that was that time in 2018?
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken
There we
enchiladas?
go.
Do not remember that.
You do not remember that?
She was so hurt.
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10
Hold
times
on.
a year?
I don't remember that.
Let's go back. She said what?
Chili chicken enchilada.
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Green chili chicken. We're gonna have to find a recipe. I'll put it up here. Hold on. Green chicken enchiladas. Okay, we're gonna find a recipe after this.
Do not remember that.
That girl was hurt.
You do not remember that?
Even the
Nope.
judge does not know
So
what.
I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year.
Apparently, your meal is
don't
not
remember that.
memorable.
Okay.
Not
And when was the
memorable.
last time that we had a phone call or text message?
I have
She was
no
hurt.
idea.
She was really
Could it
hurt.
possibly be around that exact same time?
Possibly.
Okay. So that was possibly in early 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Lori, come on now.
Who do you think initiated the final communication in our relationship?
Who concluded it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would the case agent have to be the one who would authorize that at the time?
It depends.
We need to add this.
As a case
We're
agent,
gonna have to add these to our recipe. Add it to our recipe books. Actually, I have no idea what a green chili chicken enchilada is, but
would like
okay,
to
I know what
have,
an enchilada is. The green chili part, I have no idea.
input or influence on what a press release is or states. But occasionally, they're published by our PIO, our press information officer.
Okay, why is it doing that?
So do you know if
A girl's hair is
Detective
curled.
Moffat was the case agent at the time, is that correct?
He was.
And so do you know if he talked to the PIO and put that out or if he didn't know?
Speculation.
Sustain.
Okay, why is
Do
this?
you know if the PIO agent just put it out?
Objection, she doesn't know about this.
Do you know?
I have no idea.
This is just awkward.
Detective Inkland, yesterday the prosecutor asked you several times, why didn't Lori just give the phone back? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you learn in your investigation that the entire altercation only lasted a few minutes?
That'd be a fair assessment.
Because we discussed that in our interview, is that correct?
We did.
So from the time Tyler came out with the bat and I ran outside is maybe less than 2 minutes.
All right,
We discussed
Ellie.
that. Is that
Ellie, Ellie said the green one is the
We
crazy spin
discussed that it
of the
probably happened
original
in a short amount of
recipe.
time. I don't think we
All right,
gave
thanks,
a specific
Benji.
time amount to what happened, but that it happened in a relatively short amount of time.
We didn't say that was like
Green
1 to 2
chili
minutes.
chicken.
like-
Mm.
That was our discussion, yes.
Yeah, that was our discussion.
Lori, can you move on?
So we would not have been arguing for a very long time.
Okay, I don't know who put this compilation
The
together.
school and
The only thing worth watching here was the green chili,
During the
chicken
course of this
product.
investigation, the Chandler Police Department did verify, I guess that next day, that that was his.
I'm gonna skip this detective.
Good question.
She was definitely defeated then.
Ms. Sharp, did you?
Serena Sharp.
Looking into this.
Oh yeah, this was a really weird one. This was a yeah. This cross examination was something.
Did you raise your hand?
Hmm.
Yes, I did.
Did you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
Mhm.
The whole truth?
Yes,
Nothing but the truth?
So help you who?
yes.
So help you who?
I thought this was clever, but all this for a people, prepare people, plan a people stuff. Mm-mm.
God,
So can we agree that this court acknowledges that your testimony here today will be accountable to God?
Mm.
Your Honor, I don't object to the relevance of this.
Sustained.
Your Honor, they brought up the religion.
Ask for response. It's sustained.
Okay.
Ask the next question.
Rocky JJ on YouTube. Thank you.
Do you believe that your testimony here will be accountable to God?
yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Ms. Sharp, how many times did we meet in person?
All right.
4,
Where's Nancy Joe?
How many
Nancy Joe's
one-on-one
the real
conversations
highlight.
during those meetings do you think that we actually had?
Who created this compilation? I should have
Nobody
created my
else
own
read.
compilation. I
Just
should not be complaining. I should have created my own compilation. We need to find Nancy Joe though. Hold on.
maybe 2.
Sorry.
Was Officer Crott?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll find Nancy Joe after this. I don't remember on which day she testified.
I believe so.
Was Officer crowd time being calm?
What?
I think so.
Were the firefighters being calm?
I didn't see the firefighters or have any interaction with them.
Were the firefighters being calm?
I believe so.
Somebody said she was more offended that
The
he did not
investigators
remember
being
her
calm?
world famous green chili
Again, I
chicken
didn't see them and have any interaction with them.
enchiladas.
But it was a pretty calm environment that day, was it not?
I don't know if I'd agree with that. but
Oh no, Debbie
No one was
said the
running around
judge's
hysterical.
faces or the judge's face during these random questions. All right.
The information that you received from the briefing,
All right.
was that from Officer, is it Krautheim? Sorry, no,
Krautheim.
Krautheim.
Mhm.
Okay,
All
thank you.
right.
Was Officer Krautheim the one that gave you the briefing on what had happened?
So Officer Krautheim and Officer Wisbicki, who.
I know,
Sergeant
do they sell
Wisbicki now
fries early at Burger
provided
King or no?
information to the
When it is
detectives and
Arizona,
the sergeant
maybe.
that had arrived.
Maybe they do.
And then who briefed you personally?
So it's a kind of a collective conversation where the initial information is provided and then we start doing assignments, basically.
Right, so Officer, sorry, say his name one more time.
Krautheim.
Krautheim,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna write that in phonetically.
Look at Lori. She's something else. Lori's something else. She was having too much fun. I have too much fun sometimes up here, but she was having too much fun in the courtroom. Hold on. Where's I'm trying to find a timestamp. This should be good.
I've been accused of being out of the scope
Oh,
of
hold
the
on.
LDS
Let's start from here.
Revelator being translated.
Hold on. Yeah, this is, I don't know. I thought this was decent though, just because somebody that's not of this faith would not. I had to Google half the stuff that they were talking about, but she found an angle, I suppose.
Miss Sharp, who are the three Nephites in the Book of
There
Mormon?
we go. Nephi's.
The three Nephites? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
In 3rd Nephi 28, the three Nephites, do you know who they are?
Off the top of my head, no.
You do not know who they are.
Brooklyn, you're
No,
late.
not off the top
We're
of my
done
head.
with closing.
Okay. In the Bible, do you know of John the Revelator?
Yeah, I'm just playing this so I can be up here a
Do
little
you know of
longer.
John the Revelator being translated?
She said
I
what?
don't remember that, but
You don't remember that? What about in the Old Testament, Elijah? Was he translated?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to
Mm.
relevance.
What does it mean to be translated again?
I've been accused of being out of the scope of the LDS religion when this is exactly in the scope of the LDS religion.
That girl is trying to show that it's not crazy. That girl said she's not crazy. I'll judge you something else.
was Elisha translated? Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
All right.
But you don't know that John the Revelator was translated as well?
I can't remember.
And then the three Nephites in the Book of Mormon, they're translated as well?
No, there were three. You asked me their names. I don't remember their
I
names.
wasn't asking their names. I said, do you know who they are?
She remembers now.
Are you aware of them? I'm sorry. I'll be more specific. Are you aware of the three Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
Yes,
That they were translated?
yes.
So is it fair to say that that isn't uncommon in the Christian belief system
Okay.
to believe in people being translated?
Okay, are you
I'm not
aware?
qualified to
You testified
answer that
about
question
everything
for
else.
all.
Come on, we're gonna find the green chili. I don't even know. I'm kind of scared to look this up, but let's see. Oh no. Ah. Ugh. All right. I guess. I suppose. It looks like it's a thing. Folks are actually cooking this. I don't know. I don't know. Let's find a recipe. This is from 9 years ago. I don't know. Allie might be making this for a kid. Allie might, Allie might be making this for a kid, or I don't know. Okay, Benji apparently loves having some really good green chili enchiladas. Not just that, you have to add the chicken. All right. You have to add the chicken. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Dang, he went all out. All right. I don't know about that part. A lot of grease. Okay. Does he talk? Shout out to Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. I suppose. I don't know. All right. That's the recipe. That's part of the recipe. That's not Lori's recipe, but that's a recipe. That's a recipe somewhere. Look at didn't I do a good job? I did a phenomenal job with that thumbnail. I did a real good job with that thumbnail. All right. I put some effort into it. Benji said, sheesh, did you not like the recipe? Did you not? You're definitely making that for your kid. What is that? The famous what is it again? Green what? Green chili something. All right, folks, it has been fantastic. Today was launch day. We debuted our first live stream up here and we got it done. So we will reconvene tomorrow. Tomorrow is what, Tuesday? I should have my availability should be decent tomorrow. I should be putting out some I do come home. Actually, I'm going to the grocery store after work, so that might not be the day. Anyway, sometime this week I'll be putting out some what is it, short and videos on this channel. A little bit more polished. We'll do it a little bit more polished. I did not disappoint. I'm really proud of my thumbnail. I'm really, really proud of my thumbnail. I've created a thumbnail for Karen Reed, and I tried to create one for Brian Kohlberger. The Brian Kohlberger one is the Karen Reed one is okay. It's not as I don't like it as much as the Lori thumbnail, but we are getting there. We're getting there. As far as tomorrow, let's see. Tomorrow, I could either come up here at 8 or we can just do regular time. No, let's do regular time. No, let me think about it. Because Karen Reed's in court tomorrow, right? She's in court tomorrow. So let's go with, let me think about it for a little bit. No, let's go with 8. We're going to go with 8 p.m. just in case we have to go over with 8 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, so Ali says tomorrow on this channel. Yeah, tomorrow's on this channel. And then, I might go back over to Sustained Overall. We'll see how it works out. I'm just being chaotic at this moment. But Ali says you guys need to hit that like button. And then Voice of Reason says first live stream and creative thumbnail for the video. I did good on the thumbnail. The thumbnail's really good. The thumbnail's really good. So I have to work. I have to improve other things, but we'll eventually get there. All right. Benji says, see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, let's do. I think 8 p.m. is decent. The only problem is when I come up here at 8 p.m., that kid's not in bed and I forget. So I need to put her in bed right now. So yeah, let's just do 8 p.m. I'm gonna get started early. I should have her in bed by 8. So 8 p.m. All right, folks, have a fantastic night. Thank you guys for showing me some love up here and being chaotic with me. Today was kind of mellow. I had no real expectations. I did not expect for closing arguments in this case to be overly dramatic. I did not expect, for what's her name again, Lori, to be zapped. That was not. I know that's something Brooklyn probably has been hoping to see. I'm glad it didn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen before the case concludes. But there was nothing really stood out to me in closing. And absolutely nothing stood out. And Lori, even for somebody that had in fact prepared a close, I don't know. Lori should have done a better. She should have gone with a real lawyer. That's what she should have done. All right. Ali says good night. See you tomorrow. Real Thing says good night. Yeah, I definitely need to get some rest. I need to do that. Shout out to Fever though. Fever says hey, but he was tired and passed. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Hopefully he joins us, this week because we're gonna get into Karen reading a little bit. All right, folks, enough talking. You guys know I can talk a donkey's ears off. Okay, so good night. I hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday, and we will reconvene here tomorrow.